Hi, everybody. So we're going live. I got the B2B virtual minglers coming on stage. We're going to talk about our upcoming event on Wednesday, the B2B Cyber Mingle. It's filling up fast, actually. Registration has been through the roof today. I can get into that a little further down the road. But first, I want to introduce the other minglers. It's going to be a lot of fun. So here we come. We've got Kelly Kamak. We've got Benita Lee. We've got Penny Archer.
Hi there.
Hello.
Oh, hi, minglers.
So, how did this whole thing start? I believe this started with Benita and Kelly about what a year and a half ago.
Right. Yeah. No, it was the first lockdown second lockdown during the COVID pandemic, and Kelly and I had just met previously, 2 months before that, I think. And where we met in Grapevine, Texas, where our fellow ICPAers are. Lila Landis, wonderful contact, introduced Kelly. Lila has this superpower of knowing who to introduce to who. And Kelly and I hit it off. And during that second lockdown, I was like, oh my gosh, so worried about all those small business owners that don't know how to sell their goods online. There's restaurant owners, there's people that sell honey, there's people that sell t-shirts, and they're not online. They're not e-commerce. So like, how do we help out those fellow small businesses or those other professionals that are doing, something on the side? And I just put that out to the universe, and Kelly like jumped on it, and she was like, we can use that platform that we've been mingling on all summer long, because Kelly was holding these networking events for women in trade, because she has this women in trade podcast that is awesome. So you know what my favorite episode is, because I always tell you, but it's always the Lila one, because I feel like I know you both personally, so it just hits me. But that's how this all started. And then once that started, I was like, hey, I got to find some small businesses. So like Chris Postel was there. I met him through Peter Ryer on LinkedIn. And it just so happened that Chris was in my home province. This is while I was down in Houston, I think. Yeah, I was down in Houston. And we had the first mingler, and about 10 people showed up. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good for a first mingler. But it was just like the 10 businesses that I had invited to show up.
But that was a great start, because it just showed how much we could connect people on this amazing platform. And we started just with conversations, and then we brought in the commerce piece and just getting the word out there. And yeah, here we are a year and a half later, right, Benita?
Yeah, no, and this year, what's happened, Kelly, is I got to see you again
In person
in San Diego. I got to see Penny
in person.
and in person. Penny like came down to me to like give me some business cards like that I wouldn't even have if it weren't for Penny. Like, wow. And then Chris last week took me over dinner, and we went to the hydrogen convention. So a year and a half ago, like half of us had never met.
Well, during COVID, that was just the hardest struggle, don't you think? Like, to keep businesses going when businesses were used to being in person, and we were used to going to conferences in person, and to your point, Benita, we were used to going to farmers markets in person, and these types of companies weren't used to going virtual. I mean, Chris, you have been talking to companies about going virtual for quite some time, right? But in this way, this just wasn't on a lot of people's radars. And so, yeah, we've definitely done a lot of growing during the COVID lockdowns, and I hope what we've done is just added that level of connection that we wouldn't have had otherwise. It started with just my very basic contacts of women in trade that I was trying to make with my podcast. And then when we realized that this could really help beyond just women in trade, which is very narrow, we can have people from all types of businesses benefit from this online networking, if not selling their wares on like a virtual farmers market, but just making those connections and learning from other business owners, right? And so that's how B2B was born, right? We wanted to make sure that we were connecting people that needed connection.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, Kelly, we all come from different backgrounds. Well, yeah, we do. I mean, you're a lawyer. I mean, we're in the same field, but you're a lawyer, and I'm like a consultant advisor. Penny's a virtual assistant. I like to say executive assistant, but
Penny went virtual too.
that's right. And Chris is like a founder, and we all come from different businesses. But guess what? Like, through this year and a half, this 2 years, we found that we can collaborate in valuable ways, even coming from other segments. I just like to say that we would have never had the second mingle, or maybe we would have, Kelly, I don't know, but I was at that point where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna give up.
I know.
And then Chris was like, no, man, I'm fired up. And because he was fired up, the second one went on. So I'll let Chris tell the story about why he, was fired up to go again.
Well, I don't think you'll ever replace the face-to-face interaction. Like we all love that. We're human beings. We love that community. We love building that community. But there's a real value that you'd never, like a lot of people, like all three of you, I never would have had the opportunity to connect with you folks. Maybe, but highly unlikely would I be collaborating with you folks had it not been for a virtual event. And had it not been for connecting on LinkedIn previously, prior to that, all virtual and connecting that way, I doubt we'd be here 2 years into the fact, having these conversations and sitting on this live right now talking about it. I highly doubt that. Again, it mathematically possible. I could be, so I'm not going to say with certainty, but the access and the reach and the ability to connect with people all over the world at any time zone at any time is just absolutely incredible. Share ideas outside of your common ground. You could say, oh, I'll go on social media. Well, even that is contained to your region and your likes specifically, right? They want to target your personality. So, I mean, you really don't have this avenue any other way. And from this point, you can get into real life, in-person relationships and interactions. So yeah, when I came to that Christmas market back in 2020, December 2020, it was small, but it was great. Like there's some quality connections, and it was just, you could see the value in using the Remo app and just where this could go, right? And people's opportunities to present their ideas and share ideas and learn from each other. It's just mind blowing. So yeah, I was super excited, and I thought that'd be an incredible experience to be a part of. So, and then, we got lucky, and Miss Archer joined the fray in the spring. So it's just crazy how it keeps snowballing.
Yeah. Wow. What a wild ride so far. So I met Benita at an MNP networking event, and that was virtual. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna, go practice my pitch at this market. Low, well, little did I know I'd be I'd be helping organize upcoming mingles and things like that. And I think I volunteered. I went to Chris and I said, hey man, like, why don't we connect? And I'm interested in helping out. I'd like to help you guys promote this. And from there, well, that's all she wrote, right? Like we just kept going.
I love
Trying
that you
to up our game.
mentioned. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I love that you mentioned practice your pitch, because that's such a cool way of talking about networking. Because networking just gets such a bad connotation because of people's preconceived notion of what networking is. But I mean, Penny, you went in saying, okay, I have this new idea, I have this new business plan, but I got to get the word out there. And you wanted to just, see how it landed, or see how you can, it's all about innovation, is all about that pivot afterwards. Like if you gotta make small changes, you can do that. And these kinds of networking events are safe places to do that, right? Like show what your business can do, and get feedback from people that you meet. Did you understand me, like that kind of thing. All these networking opportunities isn't just to get another friend request on LinkedIn, but I mean there is so much more value here, and it's hard to get that across in a quick little one-liner, come to our event kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think you really got to the heart of the matter. Is the way that we view networking is not transactional. The way that the B2B minglers view networking is relational. Like we're starting a conversation, but I mean, we continue that conversation. I mean, and that's what it's all about. So thank you so much for joining us all. I see that two of our panelists are in the audience. Thanks for coming, Laura and CJ.
We've got a panelist actually that's in here. I'll bring into the fray here, but
I've seen Emo before. Thanks so much for joining us, Emo. Or I'm not sure if it's Emo or Imo, but I'm sure you can let us know when you come. No, absolutely. Job seekers, career changers. The theme of this mingle, like, because of the brilliance of Chris and Penny, I think we started to bring keynote speakers in. So for the last few mingles, we've had keynote speakers like Vernon Webb, Faisal Karmali, Robert Berry. Am I forgetting any guys?
Those are the ones I remember.
Okay, good.
And we've got some cool ones coming up too.
So we have a panel of experts that are going to be speaking about cyber security and risk, and even systems thinking, and how that all fits in with keeping your business safe, and not just your business. So everyone is invited to this one, because if you are online, if you are you have a social media presence, if you're even hanging out lurking but not making your presence known, you need to protect yourself. And that's what the theme of this mingle is going to be about. It's called the Cyber Mingle, because I don't know. I mean, Penny is just so good with coming up with this stuff. Like, I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, I picked Cyber Mingle because, we're going to be talking about cybersecurity and risk, and how can you keep yourself safe if you've got an online presence? What can you do to avoid becoming a victim of, say, cybercrime, or having, for example, if your business, all of your business is, for example, on a social media network, what will you do if you get hacked? How can you prevent that? And how will you handle things if that risk becomes real? There's such a thing as perhaps even reputational risks. And so we have people that are going to be joining us to talk about all of these things. I think it's kind of hard if you're a solopreneur, small business. You don't necessarily have the resources or a team behind you to look at this type of thing. You don't necessarily have a cybersecurity officer on staff, that type of thing. So, what can you do to keep yourself safe and mitigate risk
Yeah,
when
like
it comes to your business?
Penny, correct me if I'm wrong, but was the stat 80% of small businesses that get hacked or ransomed with the
I'm not
ransomware,
sure.
they go out of business within 6 months.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the
Yeah.
stat, but I would think that would be a huge risk, right? Like,
And then when I was talking to a police officer in Toronto, because somebody booked a meeting with me, and I thought it was a potential client, but it was a woman in Toronto that was telling me these things that were happening, and she thought it was trade related or
Mhm.
export import related, but I could see that it was some bad guy at play here. And so I called the police for her. And that police officer told me that he'd had so many phone calls about stuff like this
Yeah.
that if he told me how many he was getting every single day, we would all like not even use a computer or a phone.
Yeah, it's scary. So that's why come to this cyber mingle to find out what you can do to protect yourself, keep yourself safe, as well as network with some folks. I mean, there'll be an opportunity to actually chat with some of our experts on the panel, and then we have the wonderful Robert Berry will be joining us, and he's going to be the moderator. He'll be fielding those questions for you, and we have Laura Dixon, risk consultant, joining us. CJ Eunice joining us. Who else have we got? We've got and we've got Joe Horowitz. Yeah, so it's going to be a really good one.
Who's the founder of like Stetson Cybersecurity. So like he's also in risk and internal audits. So this is we're going to have a bunch of huge brains out there to keep us safe. And like, how lucky are we to know these people so that we could reach out? God bless you too, Chris. Thanks so much for coming. We know we'll see you at the mingle. But Penny, some people think that all they needed to do was click the I accept the, like, I'll attend on LinkedIn.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
there's a few more steps there because we want to keep ourselves safe and you safe. So there's a few steps involved. So the first one being click the event link on Eventbrite that takes you to Eventbrite and make sure that you register there. And there's a link in that Eventbrite that you should use to register to attend on the Remo platform. Now, of course, on the days leading up to the event, we'll have even more detail for you on the B2B Virtual Minglers page on LinkedIn with step-by-step. And once you register through Eventbrite, you'll also get some reminder emails as well. And I think all the information's there, but you can certainly reach out to any of us B2B virtual minglers or put a question on our page, and we'll get back to you if you've got any questions or concerns about registering. And I'm thinking, have I missed anything, guys?
No, I just dropped the Eventbrite link
perfect
in the comments on my feed, but I guess I'll go do that on Chris's feed as well.
Yeah, show up here.
So the
Yeah.
Eventbrite is going to give us like the list of names at the door. If we're going to call this like, do a parallel.
Yeah.
So the Eventbrite puts your name on the list, right? And then we're using this platform called Remo, and to be secure, cybersecurity, that lets us know who we should let in the door, right? So
Exactly.
when you register on Eventbrite, that puts your name on the list, and then you'll be given the link to Remo, and you'll click on that, and then Remo will also ask for some of your information so they can verify that you are a real person and should be let into the event, right? So we're all just trying to avoid any sort of event crashers or bots or that kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
so
we
that's
have
why
a
it's kind of a two-step process here.
Right.
So
exactly. Well, it's truly because first you say
Hmm.
I'm attending on LinkedIn, and then or no, first you go to the Eventbrite.
Yeah.
First you to the Eventbrite and you register.
Mhm.
Once you've registered, it'll give you the Remo link.
Yeah.
With that Remo link, if you've never been on Remo, you want to set up your account.
Yes.
And like I'll let Kelly tell you why you should set up an account. Like you don't have to set up an account, you can just walk in that day. But Kelly, let them know why. Like what are the advantages of setting up an account on Remo?
Sure. Well, it's you want to set up your account on Remo ahead of time so that there's no delay when you enter the event on the day of, right? So for security reasons, you do have to provide an email address to Remo as you enter to make sure that we are admitting the correct people to the event. So if you do that ahead of time, it will be faster on the day of. And what that does, if you do this ahead of time, it gives you the chance to set up your profile as well. The cool thing about Remo is once you come to an event, you'll see the user interface looks like a bunch of tables, like a map of a conference room. And so it kind of emulates that in-person feeling because you can choose which table or breakout room you're going to join. And so each table will have about 4 people, so we keep it kind of small so you can actually have a real conversation instead of the Brady Bunch 17 screens on one screen, no one gets a word in edgewise. So that's the benefit of signing up early, putting in your account, creating an account, creating your profile, because if someone then clicks on your name, what we have all done is we put our LinkedIn profile right there. So if I'm at a table with somebody, they can click my name and click my link right to LinkedIn. We connect, and then we can continue the conversation after the event, right? Because, make that connection, but then continue the conversation. And that's how you do that by setting up your profile.
So yeah, like you don't need to get into a table and then just start puking or like whatever. Puking your information or puking your business or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to start handing out business cards.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when you get into your table of 4 people, like we want to make sure everyone at the table gets a chance to talk and not be like an interrupter like I am. I'm so sorry, guys. But know that you can just click on their profile button and then you'll have their information and you can connect on LinkedIn to continue that conversation later. So Laura says she's glad she doesn't need to puke. Yeah, you don't need to puke, people. I'm just saying because that's what I thought at first, right?
Right. So
I was like,
there's a time limit on making the connections, you're saying, and you kind of felt pressure to do that. Well,
Okay.
it's we try to make it as easy to do as possible, right? Come in, introduce yourself, have a small conversation, listen to our keynote speakers, and then you can go. We'll send you back to the tables. You can continue the conversation about what the speakers are discussing, or you could have your own conversation, right? But make that connection. That's the most important piece. And then if there's more to talk about, that can always be done on LinkedIn.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Joe and Laura and CJ at their own tables. So like if you wanted to speak to an expert because of something they had said,
Mhm.
then you can go sit with them, and you have that ability, you have that control. Like you can say, oh, like, oh, I don't like this table I'm at, so I'm going to spend the next 9 minutes at CJ's table because I see that
Mhm.
there's a seat there that's not taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny you mentioned that. Speaking of CJ, who speaks on systems thinking and systems engineering, and being that the cybersecurity is just a smaller part and a much larger cog in a lot of our daily lives and businesses, he's actually backstage. He just wanted to jump on here and.
Oh, I don't know, CJ. We only have a few minutes.
We do, but you know what? I did meet CJ virtually as well. So I've never met
Oh,
him,
wow.
and we've been
That's
working with him
true.
for a while. He's down in New Mexico, so I'll throw him on here, and he can say hello and talk about his
Yeah,
virtual
let's have
networking
CJ talk
experiences.
about his experience. Right.
That's great. Oh,
All
CJ.
right,
guys.
CJ, give us a
Hi,
testimonial.
Penny. Hi, Benita. Hi, Kelly.
Hi. Give us a
How?
testimonial of what you thought the first time you came on Remo. Because I
Holy
remember you
cow.
were so curious.
Yeah, like, holy cow, what is this? And the platform was pretty interesting, and looking at how all of the opportunities online kind of you look at all these people and you look at how they're mingling, and that's how I met Chris, and that's how I met Penny, and this is how I met Benita and Kelly, obviously. So there's a lot of opportunities. So I was kind of able to explain to them on the back end, technology wise, how it all worked, and they're just like, I don't want to know this. This hurts my head, CJ. Just stop. So it was kind of neat to kind of dissect how, all these different platforms, and the guy who developed it was probably pretty next level as far as his IT capabilities and bringing all these platforms together. So it was really neat to see that, and just understanding, from Penny's earlier comment, the kind of the cyber precautions that we need to take nowadays when we're online and getting hacked and all this other fun stuff, because we're dealing with virtual environments, and all those things are supported by the information technology and cyber stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, if we don't take precautions, and we don't kind of protect ourselves, we are setting ourselves up for failure, because a lot of the business, the B2B that we do, is online, and it's really important. So this has been a fun testimonial, and I've got to meet people in places that I never thought I'd meet before, and have
And
opportunities to
start
talk.
working and collaborating with them, CJ.
Well, there's that too. So, so I'm never bored, but I came up with a new slogan the other day, and I think Chris and Benita liked it quite a bit. I said, I'm in systems thinking in complex systems. I solve problems you didn't know you had in ways that you don't understand. So,
Kelly, did
lots
you
of
know
fun.
that came from like systems thinking? Because that's actually like what it says on our ICPA t-shirts.
Very similar, solving problems for people. And I mean, it all comes down to people, and that's what you need to know and meet and understand people in order to solve their problems for them. It's consulting. It's what we do. And
Mhm.
Networking is the bottom rung of that. You have to start with meeting the people and then meeting their needs and
Yeah.
meeting their problems.
One of the fun things I tell people, Kelly, is I'm a strategic advisor. Anybody can be a consultant, but not everybody can tell people what they don't want to hear.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's actually
Especially if it's true.
CJ inspired me to change my LinkedIn profile. I'm no longer a consultant, because we're thinking consultants usually tell companies what they want to hear. And they have lots of ability to do that. But a strategic advisor tells you what you don't want to hear. And that's really the hard part, I think, of all of our jobs.
So is the plan to use this in your pitch when you are networking on Remo?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, I have to change my business cards, Penny.
So
Yeah,
I just
practice
wanted
your new
to,
pitch don't say consultant. You're gonna have to practice saying
Yeah.
strategic advisor. I like it.
Right.
yeah. And then I just wanted to address, I think Emo had a question here. Let me just see. What does it say?
Yeah,
Is
she
this
did.
similar to LinkedIn audio and Twitter Spaces type of virtual events?
No, it's not an audio only, so it's an in-person. So, like I mentioned earlier, like Kelly was talking about, you register through Eventbrite, and then you log into the Remo app. It's all web-based. You don't have to download anything onto your computer to do this. You log in, you create an account, and then you actually just show up. Trying to think what it would be closest to what most people would have experience with in like 5 years from now. I'd probably say the metaverse, but that's not really now. But yeah, it would be like an actual conference. Honestly, it's a layout. Think of a conference, but you're just sitting at your computer doing it virtually, and that's probably the best way to do that. Would be it's a real conference. It's a conference center. You're on a conference floor. There's tables everywhere. You can go around to the different tables. It's just virtual.
Right. So just like us, for example, there would be if there were 4 people at a table, you would see 4 cameras on, 4 pictures or 4 videos showing up on the screen, and you can converse with people as if you were in the same room. So your video and your camera would be on probably for the best experience. But at the very first event, the first person that contacted me actually reached out to me through the chat. So that's possible too.
If someone wants to know what it's like, think of this, but with just 3 of the cameras on, because the other camera is you, and so you're just talking to 3 other people at your table. This is basically what it is. You're sitting here just chatting away, learning and growing your network, surrounded by just a whole bunch of awesome people. So.
Yep. And then I would say, sorry, I'm going to go to another table. And then I would just double click to a different table. And then I disappear from your screen and show up on the next group of people's screens.
Right. I like to say, excuse me, I need to return some videotapes, and then disappear.
Something very not virtual.
Videotapes, Benita, huh?
We're showing our age now.
If you want to know, we'll drop the link to like a Remo demo, right, Kelly? We have that.
There's a lot of content on the platform itself. I think it's gaining a lot of followers and a lot of steam. People are seeing the value of it. So definitely check them out and join us for our event to really see it in action.
Yeah, maybe even set yourself up with a trial or one of the free accounts and play around in there. Like, it really is a cool platform.
Very cool.
I can see that Elisa del Palacio from Argentina said, I think I've successfully registered because I've just now received an email. So that's your test. That's your test. If you have successfully registered through the Eventbrite, you will get an email and you can place it in your calendar, and that'll give you the link for the day of. So there will be no mistake.
And again, just reach out to anybody or send us a message on any of our posts leading up to this event, and we'll get you sorted.
Yeah, connect on LinkedIn. Connect to all of us on LinkedIn and reach out. Yeah, we're all friendly people for the most part. And then,
but I suggest you read CJ's article on systems thinking before you come and meet CJ. It's a must read, and you know what? Like, you need context. You need context. So like, it's a great article. Check out Kelly's Women in Trade podcast. Penny is Penelope Tree. Chris is Progressive Plan. Like, I can't believe I get to like work with you people. Like,
just connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to connect with you.
You guys are awesome. CJ, do you have your 5-minute flash talk ready?
It's pretty much going to be off the cuff, Benita. I mean, you know me. It's nothing planned. This is how things are right now, and it's not. Nobody said that. The stuff that we're doing now is easy. When you're talking about making technology easier. There's a lot of complexity behind that, and complexity on top of complexity equals a vulnerability, and a lot of people don't understand the vulnerabilities that they are up against in cyberspace, quite frankly. So we can talk. Yeah, and we can
CJ knows what's going on up in cyberspace.
well, maybe just a little bit. So
Connect with him.
there's a lot
I
of.
want you to know. Sorry, I keep interrupting
Go
you,
ahead.
but it's just because
There's just a bit of a delay. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know, CJ, that we have strategically and thought about this like in a systems thinking type of way. So we have strategically placed you at the tail end of the event for your flash talk.
Okay.
So because we know you have this situational awareness, so that you can pick out what maybe the other panelists might have missed and look at the questions that have been asked and then kind of like wrap it all together.
I have been known for a time or two to kind of pick and choose as to how things integrate in the world.
I've seen you do it, so I knew you would be perfect.
Well, that's a lot of fun. So I think the bigger thing here is understanding some of the stuff that we're up against, and none of what we do is easy. Everybody has their own challenges, and being able to highlight the way in which some of those challenges are going to meet the 21st century are a very interesting thing. So one of the harder things about trying to explain to people that don't necessarily understand complexity, or why complexity is an important thing, or how systems thinking is important. I mean, you're kind of my first real case study, Benita, with regard to that aha moment that you had with regard to, man, it's not like a trade compliance problem, it's a systems thinking problem. I've been looking at this all wrong. It's like, holy cow. And then Chris finally realized, man, I've been thinking about this all wrong. And it's just like, you have that aha epiphany. And then when you think about it, you're like, your head explodes, because you've got I've got the Benita emoji with the atomic explosion coming out of her head.
Nuclear
meltdown, like, holy cow, really? So you start thinking about all of the ways in which this type of thought process and this thinking impacts your day-to-day business, and how you look at the world, and why these things are really important. And holy cow, it could go on and on. So I mean, we could talk to Penny and the stuff that she deals with, or Kelly's stuff and how she deals with that. There's a lot of complexity in law, and a lot of people don't see it like that. I had some folks that I was helping with an insurance fraud case, and funny sidebar, they were lawyers as well, and they had to do with fraud with regard to these insurance companies. Well, I started picking out systems and patterns, and I completely broke down the defense's case, and they didn't like me so much, because they ended up losing a whole lot of money, and the clients ended up settling out of court, because I highlighted some very interesting things with regard to the systems and patterns to which the civil engineers were picking and choosing the way in which some of these failures occurred. And it's just like, look, guys, there's a problem here, and the same guy is hacking off on the same stuff. How much money on the back end has this gentleman been given? And why is this important with regard to how they're getting paid and who they're blowing off? And they're just settling for the minimal amount. And let's just say the defense didn't like that so much. So they lost a lot of money in that case, and they weren't terribly happy about it. So
multidisciplinary thinking. I mean, I think to solve today's issues, we all need to think outside of our little
Our
echo
wheelhouses.
chambers.
Our box. Yeah, our absolute
right.
box. So yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Yeah. So, I get the feeling that just like every mingle that we've ever had, I mean, there's going to be people that just didn't get enough. Like, are we going to be able to have that after party? I wonder, Kelly?
Be careful what you wish for, Benita.
The after mingle?
Ask Kelly.
We'll think about it, but yeah. So don't fret if you didn't get to say what you needed to say, or you didn't get to meet that person that you had your eye on, because there's going to be 50 people. So, like 4 per table is pretty good, but sometimes you don't get to meet that person that you really wanted to meet. So there's going to be an after party, and if you click on their profile, you'll get their LinkedIn contact, and you totally will be able to link up with them. Chris, you just never get enough. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming. Let's wrap this up so that the B2B minglers can have a quick 15-minute talk with each other.
Yeah, we got to get ready.
Yeah, we got to decorate.
We got to get ready.
We haven't even chosen the flowers or anything. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. It's copy
So
paste.
be ready, people. They need to be ready. Be ready for Star Wars Day Cyber Mingle.
May the 4th. That's right.
May the 4th be with you. Oh my.
See you Wednesday.
What a beautiful day. Oh, other side, right up here.
Other side. There we go. Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Vader. And the Millennium Falcon right here. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the Star Wars Day. So
the holiday, the Star Wars holiday.
That's
you
right.
think your day's bad? You should see things at Space Force.
If you want, you can come in costume. We are not going to judge you if you come in costume. Kenny D, you are coming, whether you like it or not, because you will savor the flavor of actually talking to us live. That's right.
That's a good idea.
Savor the flavor of the awesomeness in you networking with us, the B2B minglers, and make sure you hit up CJ Eunice, because man, if you want to savor the flavor, CJ will help you.
And with that, we will see all you fine folks on Wednesday night.
I can't wait.
Bye. Don't forget to connect, reach out, ask questions.
That's right. Reach out, follow, connect. Looking forward to meeting y'all.